This is episode 30 fuck it of the Terrorisk podcast, passion project by yours truly, and my most consistent and trusted co-host, Brendan. Yeah, you were sick for a while.
I had COVID, everybody. It was bad. Actually, when I actually got retested at the doctor's, I had COVID plus the flu with a stomach bug.
Yeah, I was so worried about you. I was like, if Brendan dies, then he won't ever be on the show again. But if he does die, that'll be like major clout. It's like, yeah,
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it's like rest in peace to our beloved co-host, and everyone will click on it. They're like, what? That guy died? I told you, like, you have fans now. Like, I showed people in some of my Discord servers the podcast, and they were like, yo, when's Brendan coming on again? He's not. They're worried about you. Because, like, the shit you would say on the podcast, they're like, is Brendan okay? He sounds like he's going to die in the next 15 years. And I'm like, he probably will, to be honest.
No, I'm not that bad. I'll probably live. I'll probably be like an anomaly. It's like, what's their names from the fucking Rolling Stones? We're still alive.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, Mick Jagger and shit. And then you have that running guy from the 70s who was always like running and being healthy, and he died of a heart attack.
Forrest.
So I don't think it fucking matters what you do. It just matters your body's planning on dying at a certain time, and it's gonna happen at that time, regardless of how healthy you think you're being.
Yeah, but you could definitely like change your odds. You could make your odds worse for yourself at the very least. I'm just saying, or
I could not keep doing what I do. So, but yeah, no, it was a good New Year's, good Christmas. Got new boots.
Oh yeah,
they're waterproof.
How did your family like the presents you got them?
Yeah, and usually I'm a broke piece of shit, and I feel bad about it. It's not like I'm like completely like I don't give a shit. But a lot of times, when I was living in Texas, I'd be like, they sent me a bunch of gifts. I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't get anything. I just paid my rent. I don't have the money for it. And I was just able to. So it was nice to be able to get gifts for everyone and be able to give everyone else gifts.
Yeah, no, I agree. It does sound nice.
I got my little brother and little sister both went out on their own. They didn't communicate with each other, and I guess saw ramen bowls with like chopstick holders and everything, and they both got me one. So I got one that's an Attack on Titan because I recently started watching that with my brother.
Yeah.
He got me that, and Miranda got me a Marukan one. Oh, no, opposite. Flip that. She got me the Attack on Titan. He got me the Marukan one. And they both, open them both, and they, look at each other like, what the fuck? You got him a ramen bowl? But it was cool. This one's microwavable. This one's not. I have two different ramen bowls. I'm totally cool with this.
Yeah. Okay. I've been doing a lot more cooking. I got some stuff to make for you and to show you down the line. I hope you'll like my dishes.
Awesome, yeah.
You like spicy foods, and I respect that. You may not like seafood, and I don't respect that. In fact, I think it's very juvenile and shitty of you to not just fuck with seafood.
I eat mushrooms.
But the fact that you like spicy food, that really balances it out in my head. At least he's not a bitch about the spice.
Well, as everyone can see, during COVID. See, I since my whole life, and I started growing hair in my face, and it looked dirty. It looked like those kids in junior high school you knew that maybe it was a different race, maybe they were Puerto Rican or something. They started growing hair before everyone else, and it just came in scraggly, and you just want to be like, dude, shave that shit off your face. It looks dirty and nasty.
Okay.
And I've always felt like that. And every day or every 2 days I would shave, and I was just so fucking sick. I just couldn't get out of bed and do shit. I was just, And then, I finally started seeing it come in. And at first, I'm like, this is nasty, but I don't feel like shaving. And then, it started coming in okay. I'm like, it still looks weird to me, though. But I have to wear the mask anyway. So you had to wear the mask. Even after I was not sick anymore, I had to wear the mask at work for, another 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So I just kept letting it grow in, getting past the awkward phase. And now I actually, it works. So it's the first time I'm 33 years old, like in SpongeBob. Oh, it took him 2 weeks to grow that beard. Well, this took me 33 years, everybody.
You know what? It's I appreciate the beard look, because I've tried it, I've done it. I've grown significant.
I didn't think it would work with my face.
I've grown some significant amounts of facial hair, even when it didn't really set in. People have still commented, it's well, are you trying to grow it out? I was like, no, honestly, I was just lazy. But when I did just let it grow out, it's here's the thing, I like the look. and I get why it makes it can make you more masculine looking or whatever. It's just the thing is, it's like I really like the clean cut look of the because like
I do too. I've done
because
that
like
my whole life.
yeah,
but
my shaving it's not so much as like I'm afraid of what I look like with facial hair. It's more so like
preference.
it's also honestly like it's like armor. When you have the clean cut look, the nice shirt, the tie, the slacks, and the nice shoes, the belt, the watch. It's like armor. Like people, it's almost it's like by nature intimidating to like lesser people. Because when you stand next to them, suddenly they start thinking like, wow, like this guy's just like that. Here. And I've tried both. Like I've experienced both, and I can honestly 100% say like people treat you differently when you dress smart. Like when you dress smart, people treat you more seriously. Like it's really weird. It was very weird.
Yeah, the other day I was talking about like being in New York. I'd rather look a little bit more poor, especially if I work like I have to pass the ghettos all the time and shit. And like I don't want to look extravagant walking through Manhattan. I want to be so fucking plain and blend in.
Yeah, and you know what?
My friend was like, "You look pretty clean."
And look, dude.
Really like
so like, look.
I'm like, I don't.
Yo, this is what I'm saying. Like, I used to agree with you 100%, but when I started working from home and I didn't have to travel for work, and every time I did travel, it's always just because I was going somewhere where I wanted to. Then I didn't give a shit. Then I would like go, like I could dress to the 8s, like, and then it's like it'll be like, yeah, it feels good, and I feel like it doesn't get in the way of anything because I don't have to travel for work, so it's like I'm already out and about, on a casual basis, and yeah, it feels good. It feels good to dress nice, not having to wear that outfit at work, where I'm just sitting there. No, it's like I'm out here dressed nice, doing exactly what I want to be doing, and it's like people smell it on you, Yeah, I said I'd take you clothing shopping until like we'll update your wardrobe, but
we should do that. We can do that.
But I'm warning you,
up for anything.
It's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it can be cheap. We could go to what we could do.
Well, I just got my hours cut at work because I ruined a batch of CBD gummies, and then in my anger and hate, and afterwards of ruining the batch, I'm like, I had to redo another batch. I was like missing lunch, and I'm like, I got done. Like I could eat fucking real quick, and I grabbed a cup of ramen, and I put it in the microwave. I didn't put water in it, and I guess when you don't put
sets
water,
on fire.
Yeah, it was pitch black in that cup, and the smoke was outrageous, and we just couldn't get the smell or anything out of the microwave. I pretty much blew up the microwave at work. So, and again, it made the boss trust me a little less, I guess, And so he's like, "Listen, I like you, but we can't have things like that happen. All these things are costing me a lot of money."
Dude, this is all your emotions, like just fucking you over, like deeper and deeper. You gotta control your emotions.
They gave me a raise and cut my hours. So strange. So I was like, "We're gonna give you a little bit more, but you're only getting 3 days a week now." And I'm like, you know what? Actually, maybe that's not a bad thing because I should probably go to more doctor's appointments, get all my other shit, get my insurance together, get my ID.
Also, you gotta find a new job. You can't work there forever.
You're right. I actually did tarot card reading last night at the New Year's party, and they said something. They said something about it. It was very specific, and she didn't know anything about it. It's my friend's mom, and she was like, "Yeah, something about finances. You have this. It's not gonna work out the way you think."
Yeah. You gotta get a new job.
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
I'll help you out.
33 and no plan.
Yeah.
I hate when people also like, "Why don't you go back to bike messengering?" I'm like, because it's not a real. Like, you can't. I don't want to be a fucking poor messenger who has to get up and ride his bike for 10 hours a day.
I agree. It's terrible.
It's fucking hard, man. Yeah. It hurts. And you don't want to do anything anymore. And when you're a bike messenger, you don't want to.
All right, I got a plan. What if you got your driver's license and just became like a delivery driver?
I've never driven, so I don't know how I feel about driving yet.
It's time for you to learn. This is it. If anything, if you learning how to drive will open up opportunities for work for you, because not only does it mean like you could do jobs where you have to drive, but you could also extend your search, in terms of like where you could work, because you could also drive there if you had to.
Yeah, I was supposed to just be, in a band and do music.
No, dude, that's even people who got famous in bands. You know who I really respect a lot? The fucking Descendants. Because the guy, the frontman of that band, he's got like a PhD. He's a physicist.
They have the Me and Milo Goes to College fucking album.
Yeah, he's a genius, and like I appreciate that so much, Because it shows you that like your expression and your emotional like artistic integrity doesn't have to be single faceted. It could be multidimensional. Not only do you have to be like a wild party animal when it's on you as an artist, but also when push comes to shove and you have to take things seriously and pull through for like actual work and to show your competency, and you can pull through them. That's what I like to do. I want to live that contradiction. I want to be one of those guys where it's like, what the fuck is up? What the fuck is his deal? Like every time he parties, he goes way overboard. But then I also want to be the guy where it's like, if you want something done right, go to him. He'll know. Because like I take pride in that. I take pride in knowing I don't hold anything back, whether it comes to work or play. You know. I want to make sure I excel in both ends. I don't want to go half-assed on like hard work or hard partying. I want to make sure I do it all the way, even if that means I live a lot less longer. Like at least I'll die with no regrets.
These those last like 20 years. Those last 20 like seemingly sucked. You know.
Exactly. So
everything hurts. You have to keep going to the fucking doctor. You never know when they're gonna be like, yeah, we're not even gonna fix it because you're just old and you're gonna die anyway.
Yeah. So
they just stop fixing you after a certain point. They're just like it. Yeah, it's because you're fucking 70.
But you know what? If I work real hard and play real hard, that is the formula to create something that will live a lot longer than me. You know, that'll live a lot longer than my kids. You know, it's
that's why I wanted to just do the band and then die.
No, but it's
when
not
I was a kid. Because,
yeah, but if you really wanted to do it, then you wouldn't have X'd out like schooling and stuff like that, and like actual sources of tangible revenue, just in case like certain elements of your plan didn't work.
You always have to have something to fall back.
No.
And
See,
I didn't like that idea.
No,
I'd rather die.
No, you misinterpreted that. When they say have something to fall back on, they didn't say have something so you could give up all your dreams and then just do that instead. No, it's have something in case you come across a hitch to hold you over until you fix that hitch. It's not about giving up anything. When they say have something to fall back on, what they really mean is have something like a spare tire in your trunk so you could just put that as a temporary fix. And then you go and fix your.
Oh shit! You know, I never fucking thought about it.
But that's what it was. That's what a real fallback plan is.
That's smart.
It's not about giving something
I
up.
always thought when I was a kid and people told me that, I thought it was like them telling me if this doesn't work out, at least you can do the shit that you don't want to do. And I'm like, I'd rather fucking die if I can't do what I want in life. What's the point of me being here?
No, because if you really knew the truth, then you would know that you have no other choice. It's like really what they mean is Luke going to Dagobah. He went to Dagobah because that was his fucking fallback plan. He was like, we fucked up, we failed. I have to rethink my strategy. I have to do a temporary retreat, do what I have to do so I could come back stronger to do what I want to do. So that's why he went to Dagobah. That was his fallback plan. You remember that, right?
Yeah, but then he even left that and did the dumb thing.
No, he did that.
And went to go fight Vader and got his arm cut off.
No, the whole time he was always going to do that dumb thing. And it was all necessary. He had to get his arm cut off, and guess what? After he got his arm cut off, it only clarified him further. It's like you sometimes you do have to step back so you could get a clearer picture. It's like
okay, even Yoda criticized him. It's like you should have completed your training and shit like that. He was like Yoda was kind of like, see, look what happened.
No. Luke had no choice. What if Luke never went back to class?
True. Yeah. No. Luke was trusting his instincts.
If Luke didn't,
isn't that kind of like the premise of using?
If Luke didn't go to, it was fated and all that shit. But also at the same time, if Luke didn't go to Cloud City, just tangibly, what would have happened to everybody?
But that's the thing. He wasn't a Jedi. He wasn't thinking like a Jedi. A Jedi is supposed to be more stoic.
Well, the Jedi were dead by then.
There
was no Jedi.
A Jedi is like Obi-Wan after Padme falls, going, leave her, and he's like, I'm not. And Anakin's like, no, we're gonna get her. It's like we have a mission.
What would Padme do?
Fuck your emotions. We have to. They told us to go get Dooku.
Or it's also what would Padme do?
What would Padme do? Yeah, and he's like,
she would do her duty.
Yeah, she would do her fucking duty because she wasn't a little whiny bitch like him. But even in the beginning of the relationship, he was like, we got to do this, and she was like, Anakin, why are you being retarded right now? He's like, oh, you're right, and it happened anyway after all the shit. But it's like, she was the smarter one in that relationship. He was a fucking wreck. I guess. Well, the
problem with Anakin also was that he was way too powerful for his smarts. He was more strong. He was more powerful than he was smart.
He had super Dom energy, but he was also fucking unhinged and couldn't actually You know, he got shit done, but in a
alright,
sloppy ass way.
That's great. No, it's good that you said that. He does have Dom energy. That's correct. But if you consider where that
Like he is also Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the most Dom motherfucker
no.
in
But
the
also,
fucking
it's
universe.
like let's consider where it comes from. Where did Anakin Skywalker come from? Did he come from like a cushy upbringing of
No, he's a
order
fucking slave.
Exactly. He grew up as a person who understands more than anyone what it's like to be completely powerless, and the fact that he was able to do what he did coming from that background shows that he knew something that most people didn't in the universe. Regardless of his force capacity, he also had a very valuable insight on what it's like to be on the very bottom.
But I'm saying Luke, when he did that, he had Jedi Force premonitions. That's what made him see it. But he wasn't thinking like a Jedi. He was thinking like a friend. He was thinking like a rebel.
Yeah, but what I'm
He
saying
had a
is,
rebel mindset. Like, we're going to get our fucking soldiers out. We're going to get our friends out. He wasn't a Jedi. Would be a little bit more sober
what I'm
about it.
saying
Let
is,
the
like,
Force take its course.
what
and
I'm
not,
saying is like you look at any powerful figure in history or fiction, and he or she has always had to endure some fucked up, fucking crazy shit.
like, watch him to blow your whole planet up.
Exactly.
Everyone and shit.
Every powerful figure, every leader in history and in fiction has always had to go through that pivotal phase of enduring some like soul-breaking shit.
If you actually think about it, Leia is did the most and is the real hero.
No,
of
but
that story.
Leia got to grow up in cushy fucking like Alderaan, while Luke had to grow
Yeah, but
up
if you
on
watch the Obi-Wan series, she gets kidnapped a bunch of times.
But she
and
gets
shit.
to still live the high life compared to Luke.
Yeah. But then after that, she's only
And she was better
19 by that
she was
time.
better educated.
So her young adult life, like I remember being 19. 19 is a young age to be in a fucking war and be a rebel.
But you have
and
no
to
choice
like,
if it's your
fucking
home.
Committing political crimes.
It's no choice if it's your home. She had no choice. They couldn't stay neutral because it was
She could have not been a rebel. She chose to be a rebel.
No, she had to be a rebel.
She could have conformed. She could have just like, yes, Empire. Let's listen
No,
to the Empire.
remember, because there's no way she could have not been a rebel because it was already written when Senator. Who was the senator from Alderaan? What was his name? Senator Organa.
Yes.
Senator Organa. So the thing is, it was bound to happen because Senator Organa witnessed firsthand how it went down. You can't unsee that. It would be irresponsible as a leader to
Most
unsee.
people were like, believe in Emperor Palpatine. He was like one of the few politicians that were
but-
like, yo, this is fucked up.
But Senator Organa didn't, but was able to see the truth, and it's not okay, especially if you're a democratic society like Alderaan. Alderaan was like a very a republic democratic society, and as a leader of that kind of culture, that ideology, you see that go down. You can never forget that. It would be doing your culture and your people a disservice. So yeah, he is going to be a foundation of a rebellion. You can't just let that go, because if you do, not only is that like just wrong morally.
Yeah, but his idea for Leia was to do it politically within the system.
Yeah, because that was his daughter. He was like, yo, I don't want you to go into like a
And she was like,
paramilitary group.
no, give me a fucking gun. Like, fuck this shit. Like,
Because-
like,
because-
she decided not to do it
Because she
politically.
was groomed to be a politician, she was surrounded by politics, and she saw all the ways the politics failed. So
Yeah,
by
okay,
pushing her
yes.
to politics, he ironically made her against it, because she was exposed directly to how it falls short every single time in the face of the Empire.
You can't fight the system within the system because you're using that same system.
And that's actually one of the things I find beautiful about the Star Wars saga. It was
It
just
just shows you can't have a revolution without killing a bunch of
It's
people.
also what I love
and
is like
destroying shit.
What I love is that the events were just as much fate as it was logical outcome. So it's like when the idea of destiny and logical outcome intertwine, it's a beautiful story, right? Like, not only was it logically make sense that that's how it would go down for them, but it also was like, it almost just seems mythically fated, because it's like such a good story, and you're like, yeah, of course that would happen. Of course this would lead to eventually Alderaan getting fucking genocided, like off the face of the galaxy, like that's crazy shit.
I love how when the rebels, like, I love in the wars in Star Wars, when they kill people and murder people, it's not like we had to do that. It's always like, woohoo! In real life, it's like fucking. In real life, it's like the fucking movie Full Metal Jacket, to where like they just killed that fucking sniper girl. And
Yeah.
they're just like, shit, this is fucked up. But in Star Wars, it's always like, I got one. Woo! It's like, yeah, you just killed a guy. Probably got a family back home and shit.
Yeah.
Just, like,
But you know what? Actually, when they started to add humanity to it was in the prequels. I remember it specifically. It wasn't episode 1, but it was in episode 2. the first like bad guy you actually sympathized with, and you were like, "What the fuck?" It was when Jango Fett murdered his lackey. Remember when she failed, the changeling who failed the assassination, and like she ended up dying because like Obi-Wan and you remember that chase scene in Coruscant?
Yeah.
That was like a big deal because that was a moment when Star Wars first really got gritty. Like that was the first time the Star Wars exhibited grit. It was when in the very beginning, after that whole chase scene, like they track her down. She tried to kill fucking Padme, failed, and then they were like, "Who do you work for?" And then her own boss kills her. And you know what was even crazier was when they even expanded on that story with the video game Star Wars Bounty Hunter. They even
I love that one.
Yeah, they even
so
showed
much.
you how like they had a relationship, like Django and her, like they had like a real partnership.
He had to do it.
And in the movie, like the
Too
fact
much was on the line.
yeah,
Sorry.
and then he fucking killed her. Like I was like, holy shit! I'd never seen that in a Star Wars movie. I by that time I watched 4, 5, and 6, and then I watched Episode 1, and then 2 came out, and then I saw that, and that's what changed like the flavor of Star Wars in my head.
Well, also when the main villain of Episode 1 and partly 2, I guess, with the Droid Army would be the Trade Federation.
Yeah.
But in the end, he's like, they're on Mustafar. Anakin comes in. He's like, he just said we would have peace if we just did these things. He's just like, and just fucked them all up.
Yeah.
They were just trying to, they were tricked. Everything was Palpatine doing it. These are all pawns. Everyone's a pawn. The stormtroopers. And that's why, like, it's like very Clerks-esque, this conversation, because like they're talking about these like politics about like,
it's a Kevin
how many
Smith
people
thing.
on that second Death Star were just independent contractors and union workers.
You know what I do think?
Just
Yo,
rebuilding.
I gotta
and how many
really-
casualties those rebels killed.
I got a
They blew
controversial
that up.
opinion about Star Wars. I don't know if you'll agree or not, but I think the Phantom Menace was the best out of the prequels. I think it was the most like groundbreaking for Star Wars. It was the most intense experience in Star Wars.
It's just that Star Wars, the fans are no matter what. Oh, look at the sequels. Sucked, but
The Phantom Menace. You remember? You remember
the
the
fans
feeling?
are really harsh.
But do you remember the
Like the guy who played Jar Jar, he almost killed himself.
Yeah, I know. But the feeling of like, yeah, there was Jar Jar, and the star fighting was bullshit.
That kid who played Anakin never worked again.
But that fight where like Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon against Darth Maul, like that saved everything because you got to see a side of
Plus
this
you have
whole,
like the best fucking song by John Williams ever.
you got to see the
And it's just fucking, it's the best thing ever. But the one thing that I remember, my cousin, he was such a hardcore Star Wars fan. He's like, I hate that they put that in the fucking the advertise the preview.
Oh yeah.
Because like that should have been a surprise in the theater.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been something you like, holy shit, a double lightsaber, let's go see it. You should be like going to see it and be like, oh, holy fucking shit, we've never seen this, like that would have been the cooler
But
thing.
but it did help.
But they were like, yeah, but if we show this, we're
There's
gonna get,
no
like, so many
way.
more
Yeah,
people are gonna go. It's just that one thing. Look, it's double-sided. We didn't even need to put too much thought into this. It's lightsabers are cool, no matter what. Even
But
if
you
you're
know
not
what?
into Star Wars,
But you know what?
lightsabers are
Also,
fucking
you know what I
cool.
also loved about Phantom Menace?
Having a sword there's no edge. The whole thing's an edge.
Yeah.
That's like the most amazing sword ever.
It's like,
no matter
yeah.
which way you go, it's going through.
But what I loved about Phantom Menace is like it was the last Star Wars movie that expressed more with cinematography and actual scene play than exposition. Then they didn't explain shit as much as they did in movies after that.
They didn't need to, yeah.
Phantom Menace told you everything. Mostly, like, for example, here's a great example. It was such a big deal to me that most people don't realize. Remember that scene right before Qui-Gon dies? They got separated through the energy fields. And then you saw, like, Darth Maul, like, going like that. And then Qui-Gon, like, kneeling down and meditating. And Obi-Wan was, like, sitting there, like...
He's still young and, like...
Yeah. But what was cool is, like, there was not one bit of dialogue throughout that whole thing. But you were still able to understand exactly what was going on.
Darth Maul was, like, almost like an assassin. He's straight to the point.
He was a predator.
Like,
Darth Maul was the predator. Qui-Gon was like the mother mammal, like willing to defend for their cub, and Obi-Wan was the cub. It was so animalistic. It was like no words were necessary, and that was so.
Yeah,
Like
he played a good Sith.
Yeah.
Like you never actually you didn't. There was deleted scenes where they did use the word Sith in the original Star Wars, but it was cut out. So nobody heard the word Sith unless you read the word deep geek into comics back in the day.
Like,
You
where
never
did
heard
those
that
red
word.
lightsaber people come from?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you just thought it was a renegade Jedi or a dark Jedi, Darth Vader, you know? But, so you never heard the word Sith until episode 1. But that was the first Sith you've seen. And he did it fucking perfectly. If you were going to think about a fucking evil fucking Jedi that comes out, that's what you're going to see. Like that, he did it fucking perfectly. Plus, that guy's like a master choreographer and like martial artist. So like, he was doing those flips.
Yeah.
He did a side flip, like, you know, all that shit. Like
While
like,
swinging the boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
yeah, it's fucking amazing. Like he's still to this day, like he'll do like.
Not only did he
he'll
do
go
the
to
flip,
Comic-Cons
he does
and
the
do presentations.
the side flip, the boom 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 boom, and then picks the thing up, boom, opens the door.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was thinking, there's just like, while staring at them.
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
like,
break eye. He's like, and he's just staring directly at them. And
yeah, that was sick. You're right. It's the details. It's
I
all
liked
in
how
those little details.
I liked how like that's what I don't like about the sequels. They make the Force so. That's what I like about like Lord of the Rings. Like they're like Gandalf doesn't do magic. I'm like, no, it's subtle. That's how it works.
Yes.
You don't,
yes.
you don't realize
a
that
wizard
he-
is never
You don't
late.
realize
A
he
wizard
just
comes-
used all of his fucking magical energy to seal the door from the Balrog. And when the Balrog got through in the book, when the Balrog got through that door, he broke down. He's like, it nearly broke me and killed me when the Balrog broke the spell through the door, and it's coming now. And it sucks that I'm weak because I think I'm gonna die.
It's like the same
Keep
equivalent.
going because you're all gonna die if you
It's
don't
like
keep going.
a good metaphor is like being in like a negotiating room with like world leaders in the midst of a war. It's like, all right, so we agree on these terms, yes. And as soon as your enemy's leader like walks away, you just break down. You're like, holy shit, you know, it's like that kind of psychic demand, and you can't show it. You're just like,
He wants because his goal as the Maiar, he's like an angelic being sent as a physical being. And the whole idea of these god beings was if the
they're
humans-
negotiating. They're
if-
representing.
yes,
they're representing the weaker
but
beings.
their
It's like
whole
I
idea
believe
was,
in these guys.
We're not
You gave
going
me the
to.
power, yeah.
We're ultimate powerful. We are gods. We could just fix this.
But no, I represent these people. I care about their lives. I care about their outcome.
And if the men and the dwarves and the elves can't get their shit together, they don't deserve it. So we're gonna push them and help them and
Yeah.
give them like positive reinforcement.
And then
But
the
it's up
gods
to them
and
in
the
the
cosmic
end.
gods are like, "Are you sure you want to back these little fucks?" And then get guys like Gandalf are like, "Yes, 100%. I know them."
He's like, you want to
yeah.
go back? We're gonna fire that other dude because he just totally fucking quiet quitted. And we
You want to be the
you working with the enemy.
yeah. You want to? You want? And I warn you, the guy we just fired, he's gonna be stronger than you. So do you really want to do this? And Gandalf was like,
I would have. I don't know. The book's cool because there was a scene where in the Return of the King in the very beginning where they kill Saruman, but in the real book, he just breaks his staff and just like tells him to just go walk. This fuck you. You're a peasant now. You have no power anymore. You have to just walk around like an old, like broken old man. So
What I didn't like the movies is that also there were way more wizards than just Saruman and Gandalf.
Well, no. There were two blue wizards.
No,
You
there was
never
a brown wizard. There was a green wizard.
Yeah, but in the book you never see. You hear about Radagast, but they actually have no like scenes in the book to where they're with him or see him.
Yeah.
To where in the movie they wanted to add a little flair, so they brought Radagast in. But Radagast is canon. He was like that. He was this like hermit, crazy like psychedelic fucking wizard that just like came to Earth and it's like, I like animals more. I just want to eat shrooms and fucking play with bunnies and shit. That was a cool idea of a wizard.
I also like Tom Bombadil.
He is actually close to the. Yes, we're going to get to Tom Bombadil, but Radagast is actually the closest because he, Tolkien invented a lot of shit. But he did not invent the idea of a wizard. That came from Merlin, and those Merlin things came from wizards in the day were like these creepy hermit people that just lived in the woods, like this creepy grass people.
Yeah.
Just like played with animals and mushrooms and like herbs and shit like that. And so Radagast is more of like the original idea of what a wizard was. Just isolated, like tinkering around with like little leaves and animals and critters and stuff like that and whispering to plants and shit like that, So he's like a typical wizard. Tom Bombadil is like, it's confusing because he's like, in the fucking book, it's crazy.
He's
It
like,
just
I think-
throws you.
I
That's why
think-
they didn't put it in the movie.
The
because
way
it's
I
so
look at Tom
out there.
Bombadil is like if a god took a shit, it would be Tom Bombadil.
But it's like a really offbeat in the story in itself, even in the book. It's like, okay, they're with Merry and Pippin now. They're going,
And all of a sudden, this fucking
like, this crazy shit
weirdo,
happens,
like,
and this guy just walks around like singing like, and you have to read like multiple songs. This guy just keeps singing. He's just like and he like just like chases the evil shit away.
it was
just
so
by
weird that they actually
singing.
cut him out of the movies altogether. I'm like, Jesus.
And this
like,
man is singing about himself. His songs are like, I'm Tom Bombadil, blah, 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 blah. And like all the fucking evil critters like, fuck, run. And like, he's just so chill. And then like he grabs the ring and he's just playing with it. He makes it disappear and reappear. He like blinks it out of existence. He's like, I could just, it's gone. Fuck this whole journey. But he's just so above everything. He is like God.
you know who he's like? He's like Q
He's
from
just chilling.
He's like Q from Star Trek.
He's like, yeah, come in.
Wait, you don't watch Star Trek? Oh my God.
I don't like Star Trek. I really don't.
do you not like
geeky
Star
and
Trek?
I'm very
Star Trek is beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking saga.
I'm really picky with my geeky things.
But
Like,
you don't
I like Doctor Who. I like
you know
Star
what
Wars.
that
I don't
tells
like
me?
Star Trek.
That tells me you don't understand Star Trek. That means you don't understand the beauty. It's like it's wonderful. It's a really wonderful saga, in my opinion.
It was just it's just I know, but it's just a giant fucking soap opera to me. As a kid, Star Wars is definitely more exciting.
You know what's
than
funny? You
Star
call
Trek.
you say Star Trek is like a soap opera, but Star Wars is the epitome of a space opera. Now, here's
Yes,
my
but it's very dramatic. and
Here's what I
flashy.
say. Here's what I say. Star Wars is more like for the it's more for like a big production. You know, it's like a once in a lifetime movie kind of thing, right? There's only so much you could tell in like an hour and something long movie, but Star Trek spans generations for a reason.
But Star Trek is about us. Star Wars is about a long time ago, galaxy far away. It has nothing to do with us.
But I like the stories about us too, you know?
And Star Trek is based upon humans. We base it on our own, like what would happen to us if this.
Also,
happened in
we
the future.
base it on the best of us. We base it on the best that we could possibly.
I think I like more of the fantasy trope. And like this is a completely alien galaxy. I don't know if this might have existed actually billions and trillions of years ago in a galaxy way far away from our own, and there were humanoids and different humanoids and so many planets and so many suns and star systems so close to each other that when they all developed technology, they were able to start communicating with each other. Probably started with radio. Like I would like somebody to make a lore where it starts off like from all these planets that got that to that point where they started, like when their prehistoric times were.
Yeah.
And how they built up, eventually got technology, made radios, signaled to other stars and planets, and eventually learned how to communicate with them, and travel and create networks and trades and shit like that.
Like
Just
that's
we did
why
with our
Star
continents.
Wars can never ever be classified as hard sci-fi more than fantasy. Star Wars ultimately is fantasy. It's sci-fi fantasy.
No, because you have all the the great thing about Star Wars is you can have a lot of just really casual Star Wars fans that are. It's easy to like Star Wars, but they're not like, they don't know all these things. We know a little bit more, but like there's some people who are super into it, and you go into the comics and like you realize everyone that passes by the screen, even for a split second, no matter what like random creature it is, that has a name and like a semi-background story. Like this is Gabajul, and he lives in the fucking
He's
fucking
a
gas
Malak,
station.
or he's a Twi'lek, or
he's lived in the gas station for 30 years, and he fucking like whatever, and everyone has their own like. So you could really go nerdy with it, or you can still be a Star Wars fan and not be too nerdy into it, and just be like, yeah, I like, yeah. Like I went to rehab, and we had everything had to be recovery based. So we had DVDs and movies. It's like if it didn't have any trope of any form of recovery,
redemption,
yes. And this is where I fucking like got pissed at them because they were so oblivious because they weren't Star Wars. There were all these people.
It's like
who owned
no,
it.
Star Wars is
And
too.
no, I remember talking to the one bitch and we hated her, Maeve or something. I forgot what her name was, but. We all hated her, and she was like one of the owner people, and like she would come out and make rules and shit. Like one time she came out and she realized everyone was fucking the one heroin addict chick. She brought out a piece of paper, and they walked in while we were in the meeting room and threw it on the ground with a pen. All right, anyone who wants to have sex while they're here, sign this sheet. And everyone's looking around like. Like, yes, of course we all want to come. We've been doing drugs for the past how fucking long?
So
our fucking emotions are like, bleh, and we just want something
did
we can
anyone
get a
sign
kick
it?
off of. Yes, I will definitely have if I had the chance.
So did
fuck the
anyone
heroin
sign
girl
it?
in the bathroom.
So did anyone sign it?
No, of course not. We want to get out of there.
Yeah.
So we can call that fucking bitch later and then both die together because we thought it was a good idea to have a relationship right after rehab with another drug addict. Because this is what happens a lot. And even as me, no, like
It's very romantic.
They told me it is. It's romantic. Like I got her number. We talked for a little bit. I think she's dead. I think she died.
Oh well.
But yeah, imagine if she was just like, she was cool. She was like a nerdy, geeky girl. She worked at a comic book store and shit. But she was like a deviant. Like, of course, she's a deviant. She's a drug addict. So she likes to do a lot of. If you're a drug addict, you're somebody who likes to get a lot of thrills.
If you're a drug addict, you're also someone who can't face
You're just
reality.
seeking pleasure all the time, whether
And
it's
you're
sex or
scared to
something
face the
else.
world because you're afraid of the ultimate high, which is reality.
Yeah.
Raw dog in reality, baby. That is the to me. It's that's why I never get lost in drugs. Because to me, the ultimate high is just like waking up, fucking being completely dead ass sober and doing something fucking retarded. Like I'm gonna join the Marines today. You know, like just that is like the ultimate high. Like maybe that's the difference between me and most people. Like I really do get high off of doing the most ridiculous things completely sober. You know, like I don't need drugs for this. Like I could go and join the army. It's like I will have the ultimate fix. Like put my life on the line, kill people for a good cause. Great. Yeah.
I forgot where we were at before this.
Oh, we were on Star Wars and Star Trek. And
Did you watch the sequels?
Yeah, I watched every single Star Wars movie.
How did you feel about the sequels?
I hated the sequels.
Tell me why you hated it.
Well, I hated the sequels because I think they were made with complete disregard and respect. Complete disregard and lack of respect for the lore that was built on top of it. Especially when I realized that it wasn't going to be good was when they announced that they would just completely do away with the extended universe lore. That's when I understood they're going to just ruin everything. Because there's no way you could take on such like a prestigious saga as Star Wars, expect, to do it like overnight and suddenly just do away with like all the blood, sweat, and tears that so many prestigious authors at this point have like literally written stories spanning thousands of years before even those movies were ever made, and they were still considered canon. And for you to go and think like, oh, you could just like flip it around over, like you're not gonna sit there and tell me that Knights of the Old Republic suddenly doesn't matter and you're gonna change it to be the way. No, fuck you. I don't care.
How did they change Knights of the Republic?
I don't care how good you think you make Mandalore, but Mandalore did fuck over Knights in a lot of ways. I don't give a fuck how good that show is. Nothing will trump the way Knights of the Old Republic was set up and the legacy that those games alone built of the Old Republic. And like Mandalore was a straight rip off the legacy that LucasArts created with those games. Because Mandalorians were an intellectual property that literally originated from Knights of the Old Republic. You remember that? You played Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes, that was my.
And you remember the fucking introduction of the Mandalorians. Like you were like, holy fucking shit. And then you understood the implication, the ties that had to Boba Fett and all that shit. And the fact that Disney thought that they could just come in, just redo all of that. Yeah, all right, fine. I don't give a fuck how good you make one like multiple season show, like represent. I don't care. It will never be that good.
The main actor is like, he's almost not really a fucking Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like you get that more as he goes through the show. He's there from circumstance.
No, what you really need, you need a guy like Mickey Rourke or some shit, like a real. Remember Candace Ordo?
Yeah,
yeah,
the first guy.
That is Mandalore. That is what Mandalore should be. It should be like Bruce Willis. You should
but
get like
as you can see, the Mandalorians and the Mandalorians in the Mandalorian were not good Mandalorians. They were like hiding.
And mercenaries, like gang, they were thugs.
They weren't the real true Mandalorians. They were their planet's gone. They're just trying. They're doing their own thing. They're fucked.
No,
they're
the
not
way I
doing
saw
it
it,
well.
the way I see it, there shouldn't have been those other Mandalorians. I think Boba.
She was still fucking looking for that sword. Nobody had the. Fucking,
yeah. I don't think. I thought that was all bullshit. I think it was perfect the way the movie set it up, where the Mandalorians were once this amazing vast thing, and it literally got reduced to just Jango Fett and Boba. I think that's all they need. They didn't need all that other fucking shit. Like, the ultimate Mandalorian fate was perfect.
Well,
when
it
it
can't
just
just
got
be them. It
yes,
sense
it-
that there's
no,
a couple
yes,
around
no,
trying
wait.
to keep it
No,
going.
No, yes, it can. Think about it. How beautiful and sick.
It would be cool, but the Mandalorian, I can't.
But
say,
because
I
you
can't
know,
say I didn't
you
love
know,
the show.
but you know that's exactly what George Lucas was going for. Like what he really meant was that all the Mandalorian history was reduced to just Django. That's what made them so.
Yeah, okay, that's why they were so epic. Like you are the
Yes.
last of this
And-
ancient dead race,
And guess what? The legacy,
just like Luke was the last Jedi.
And guess what? The legacy of that dead race was the stormtroopers, the clone troopers.
Yeah.
And it was so good, and they just fucked it
Yes,
all up.
it's like they destroyed that to recreate a new
Yes,
thing.
oh my god.
You're right. You're right.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like with the Bad Batch, the clone. Oh my god.
But I don't think the Mandalorian having a couple of fringe groups
I know
takes
I
away
know,
from that legacy.
I know
either.
it still works, but it was so good. If that just never happened,
Maybe it does take away a little bit because they were also bounty
it was
hunters.
so because Boba Fett would have still been such a
Yeah,
big
because it may. Okay, you're right. Because Boba Fett should have been like this. Holy shit! This random
holy-
Mandalorian is a bounty hunter, and he's the only one.
No matter how
You know?
scary any stormtrooper,
and now there's
or
like
commander,
a bunch of them that are also
but
bounty
no
hunters.
No matter who they, Boba Fett was still the rightful, and that could have said it.
No, because they go into that in the Mandalorian when he does talk to Boba Fett.
Yeah, I know.
He's talking, and they're like,
yeah,
he's
they
like,
did.
you're little fucking, you're like, they've given him shit, like you're a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
short, you're not true. That's not a real Mandalorian thing. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll fuck you up. He's
I
like,
remember.
I'm a clone, but I will fuck your shit up.
But
So,
you,
like,
you
I
also
like that rivalry.
But here's an ultimate story, though. Here's an alternate storyline. Like,
both are short.
imagine if the Mandalorian shit never happened, right? And it was just Boba Fett. What if it got to a point where, like, the Empire was like, I still at an all-time high, but then Boba Fett comes and learns how to subvert their programming because he is the ultimate Mandalore. Oh, at the end, he's the true heir of the Mandalore.
But
so then he goes
Django
around.
wasn't really even barely a Mandalore.
Yeah, he was. Django was literally a warrior.
Why is he cloning himself and go living on? And he's not one with the Mandalorian family.
Because
he wasn't.
No.
He did.
Because
He was just a man trying to make his way in the universe.
Yes.
He really
and
he wasn't a man.
Yeah, but
he
listen,
didn't go by the
listen,
code.
listen. That is what a Mandalore is about. Mandalores didn't exist out of like the fact that they
Yeah, but he
want-
wasn't like this is the way and have a
No, no.
code of ethics.
And it was that it's like the samurai. Is the ultimate samurai not some lackey that serves a lord like a samurai should or the
Yeah,
Ronin
but
warrior?
he wasn't. They have like it's like Jedi have their religion. It's almost
But
like a
but
religion.
still, the Mandalore. But
He
but
wasn't a part
Django.
of their religion.
But Django was a crystallization of Mandalore values because he wasn't held back by.
Wait, how did he get the armor?
Django was not because out of generational takes.
He was a foundling.
What do you mean?
Foundling. A foundling was the Mandalore when they attack somewhere and there's
Yeah,
kids,
all right.
they take them. As
No.
foundling.
All right,
That's,
before
that's
all
what
right,
the
so,
Mandalorian
before
was.
Mandalore, when we think of Knights of the Old Republic lore, Mandalorians were like a paramilitary mercenary group who were also they had the same rules as Jews. It's like we're human, but we're also not you guys because we also have our own like breeding rules and shit.
We don't take off our hats.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They were like a warrior class, and so it's like they were a warrior race, not a warrior class. But then Mandalore came out, and Mandalore added a whole bunch of other stuff to like. But before Mandalore, I'm saying like Jango Fett still followed the old, pre Mandalore thing of like what a Mandalorian was all about. And Jango Fett was the perfect crystallization because at the end of the day, the Mandalorians were nothing more than like the equivalent of like the Texas Rangers. They were just like a group
Even then, Boba has nothing to do with Mandalore.
No, Boba was taught.
Boba is a clone.
No, Boba was taught.
Watch his dad die and then had to make it in the world and try to become
But
a
his
fucking
method,
bounty hunter.
but his method and teachings of combat and the art of war were directly descended from only a Mandalorian could teach. Jango was only taught the way his father was definitely taught him. Jango wasn't a foundling. I don't think he was a foundling. I think Jango was a birthright Mandalorian. And I
so
think
why was he on his own just doing some random mercenary shit,
because it was a different time. Remember, that was also a different time.
For the Jedi too, they weren't true to their code either.
Exactly.
They were just another government branch.
Exactly. The Republic. It was all about the Republic. The Republic. And that's, if anything, that's what made it so weak.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
were
made
a religious organization that ended up becoming a part of the government, and the government used them as
If anything,
mercenaries and soldiers.
The
pretty much.
Jedi, the Republic, everything got so weak where a guy like Jango Fett could just be like, yeah, you want to use my genetic code to create a clone army and then you'll pay me a healthy sum and give me a son? Okay. And that is such a Mandalorian thing to do. It's like, if you have no people left and it's just you, it's like, yeah, I'm all about business. I want a son. I want to create a legacy, and yeah, you give me both in one thing, perfect. And it's like that was so perfect. But then like the sequels came out, and I was like, all right, whatever. And that's why the Mandalorian was literally something that just saved the sequels. It wasn't something that had to happen.
It's
it saved
crazy
the
how
sequels.
Boba Fett was always looked at so badass. Because if you watch the movies, he has barely any parts, and he does almost nothing. And it's just the look of him or something, his just presence. Even just seeing him from the first time in Empire Strikes Back, and he's just standing there. It's like, no incinerations. He's like, as you wish, it's like, sure,
Yeah,
he was
basically he was a tool.
And that's all his one line.
He's
it's
a
like,
fucking tool.
And then the one other line he has is like a nod, that's it. And then you see him, the back of him just walking out, and you hear that.
Yo, you want to hear a controversial opinion? Honestly, I like Django a lot more than Boba. I liked Django a lot more. I thought Django was so fucking sick because I understood him. He was like
Boba
a
just
father,
died in a clumsy accident.
What?
Well, you thought he died.
Yeah.
In just a random he's
Yo,
like
but
this
Django-
badass dude. He turns around.
But Django also
the
died in a
Sarlacc.
clumsy ass way. He took on a motherfucker you should never take on. Like he took on Mace Windu. He thought he could beat Mace Windu.
Okay,
Like,
because
that's
first,
a dumb fucking
when he first
move,
showed
like-
up, he did blast him and then shoot a flamethrower at him and push him off the balcony. So at that point, he's like,
I could take him. Yeah,
I-
yeah. It's like
I'm like, you know what? These Jedi, I think they think they're more bad.
he also killed a Jedi. He literally he's like shot a Jedi up. He's like, look at this punk ass bitch.
He killed it even before. He was like, oh shit. You just gotta aim right,
Yeah.
he just.
But then he took on. But then he
went down. He's like, holy fuck!
He took
I
on
can kill
the,
Jedi.
but then he took on the wrong
Yeah,
motherfucker.
that's it.
Like he
But
took on the wrong
I
dude.
think the reason there was all this shit going on. Mace Windu probably was thinking about okay, oh that bitch is gonna die. Shit, oh that kid's gonna die. He's only 24. He just he's an apprentice. So oh fuck. And he's looking around. He's like,
how do I end this?
I have to stop him right now.
Yeah.
I have to take him out as fat. I'm beelining into this guy. He didn't fuck with the monsters. He's immediately and just okay. It's like in a video game where
Yeah.
one of those characters
Yeah, it's like,
is
I
gonna
gotta-
wreck
I
every
gotta
team.
end this
You
right
just
now.
gotta get him.
That's why Mace Windu's awesome. Yeah, he was like, I gotta get you, and he tried.
He
goes for him.
The one cool part was nobody expected the fucking. People don't give the prequels enough credit.
You know what's fucked up? If it wasn't Obi-Wan and Anakin that fought Dooku and it was Mace, Mace would have beat him. Mace would have
Yeah.
beat Dooku straight up. I think so. If it was Mace Windu that caught up to Dooku and fought him that time,
Mace never lost. He was going to kill Yoda couldn't kill Palpatine. Mace was
about to kill
But
Palpatine.
Palpatine had this, he knew it was about to go
Mace
down.
was the most powerful lightsaber duelist I think in the whole Jedi
He fucked
Order.
with Palpatine.
Yeah.
He was going to win. It's only because Anakin went all bitch and did that.
Mace Windu was the exceptional Jedi because his lightsaber dueling was so powerful. You could be more powerful in the Force, and
Because
Mace Windu
he used a little bit. He was able to use
The
a
dark
little bit of the
side.
dark side and temper it a bit.
He was able to use the N-word powers.
Yeah, he's fucking Samuel L. Jackson,
He was
goddammit.
He tapped into the hood shit. He was like, yo, I got the hood power,
He
bro.
did. I love the story of the purple lightsaber because there was no such thing.
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Lucas blue is good, Jedi.
He
Red
was like,
Sith.
yo,
And he's like,
motherfucker, I'm
give me
Samuel
purple.
Jackson.
And he's like, we'll probably give you purple. Yeah, he was still thinking about it, but he's like, we're gonna come on, you're Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
We watch Pulp Fiction. Come on, we need you. But the one thing you didn't expect was the lightsaber duel when they fucking this became a whole Star Wars podcast.
I can't believe Palpatine killed Kit Fisto like a bitch. I
He
was so
killed-
upset at that. I was like, Kit Fisto's way more badass than
because
that.
they're not used to fighting Sith. They have never fought another.
I know, but that's not an excuse because Kit Fisto he took on entire underwater fleets.
And
you know,
you never see stabs in lightsaber duels because they want to make it flashy, so you want to see the movement of
And
the
the-
light. And so it looks better, yes. But they're like, we don't need to make this as flashy. We want to show that this guy's he's dangerous. So it was just stab. He fought
Also,
dirty.
no,
he
no,
didn't
no,
fucking
no.
go for flashy.
No,
or
there was
I'm a
also
great
there was
duelist. He's just
also on top of that. No, it's a good
Yeah.
point. There was also on top of that literal. There was actual novelization depictions where it's imagine fighting a guy like Palpatine. It's not just like, you know, the standard Force duel of like having to lightsaber duel with someone. It's like as he strikes, imagine like being assaulted with like Force images, like where it's like as he's striking you.
Here, you remember when your mom died when you were 5?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and you're
So
just
it's like, as that comes, it's like you're seeing all the worst shit that's ever happened to you, and then before you know,
Remember
you're
when
dead.
you know that guy just like stole your girlfriend and railed her? You know, like it's just random memories. It's just some shit.
And then suddenly you got a lightsaber through your. That's how powerful. Like that's what people a lot of times don't depict a lot in. But I think that's a really good point, because if you're truly adept at the Force and then you're lightsaber battling each other, it's not just like what you see in terms of the stroke. It's like as I swing,
Shit going on.
As I swing, I'm gonna project the worst images that I know about you and to like make you distract you and
Well,
whatever.
that's what I liked about the subtleties of the Force in Episode 1. Because the first time you see a subtlety in the Force is when, well, first they can tell.
Yo,
the
Obi-Wan
guests
saw Qui-Gon's death before it happened. He was like, "Oh my god, like I see he's gonna die."
And
like,
the first time you see it was when the droidicars come, the destroyers, massive destroyers, and they're like, we can't block.
and then we gotta
too
leave.
long.
Yeah,
And then you saw them go.
yeah, the Force speed.
And like they didn't explain it. It was so subtle. You're like, did
But
that
you were
just
like,
happen?
yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's what it would be like. It was like,
Force
fuck
jump.
did they just go?
Force speed. Force
yeah.
jump. Yeah.
And they like that was the first time you saw that ever happen.
Yeah.
You only had Luke do moving shit with his mind and shit before that.
But the mental game is also like they don't
And then,
describe
and then
it, but it's
I
a
liked
very
in
important
Darth
thing.
Maul, there's one part where they go, huh, and he goes like this, and he goes, huh, and he just
yeah.
and it's like, what just happened there?
No,
there was no strike.
That was all
It was all
projection.
just
That was
like,
projection
oh,
of
fuck,
like
what the fuck? I just got dizzy. You know,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was-
fucking cool.
that was
Shit
mental
like
force
that.
projection. That's what I'm saying. Phantom Menace was so sick. It was the best one out of the prequels because they were able to like express all these weird things that without even having to say a word about it. And yeah, it was the most kino. And that's another that's I'm gonna go back to like, you know, imagine a lightsaber duel and a guy swinging at you, and it's not just like you having to block a strong force user. It's like being assaulted with all these images of your worst like tendencies, and you're like, what the fuck? And then, you know, like that's a true Jedi battle. It's not just the lightsaber.
But
it's
even
the
when he
mental
fought like
battle.
anyone Yoda or anything, he was already like steady. He wasn't doing like he was like trying to just get in any nook and cranny he could fit his fucking shit in to get to you.
Yo,
you
but
know?
every single strike would have also been like, Kit Fisto, I know a lot about you. I know exactly who you left behind to go before the Jedi Council. And then it's just done.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, and I
you get a
remember you too.
psychological
Like,
nightmare, and then you're dead.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like he did that to everybody, but the only one that didn't work on is Mace Windu, because Mace Windu was also
But one thing I didn't
you
like.
think you
I
could
don't, one
work
thing I
on
don't
me.
like about about to kill somebody, like when Count Dooku was about to kill Obi-Wan, he went, "Do you have to go up? It's a fucking lightsaber. Why do you have to go?" And Mace Windu did the same thing, and that's why he got his arm cut off. He could have just went, "Oops," and he could have just fucking dropped it.
No, because
but he just went. Like, it's not a fucking sword or a mace.
but also-
just fucking get in there. It's going to go
also-
right through.
He also wanted it to hurt. He wanted to strike like.
You
really-
think he had a little bit of dark side
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
point?
yeah,
Like,
that's what fucked
you
him up.
fucking ruined everyone's fucking
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Like,
he felt the anger and he wanted
yeah.
to
So,
swing.
That's his fault then.
Yes, and Anakin, that gave Anakin the opportunity, you know.
That's why Anakin.
And if he never did that, if Mace Windu just went boom, Anakin would have never felt the dark eminence, and it was like, oh, this is the wrong thing, and then just stopped him. If Mace Windu just went like, I'm sorry, no anger. This is just
even
what I
if he
feel."
would have killed Palpatine, Anakin would have tried to fuck him up. I think. You ruined my fucking chance to save her.
But that makes Anakin in the wrong though, because Anakin was wrong. He was going against.
Yeah,
the
but you're
very
right.
thing.
I think Mace Windu was dark at that point.
Yeah,
And
that's
was
what
like-
that's what took him down.
And he was. That's out of fear. I'm sorry. Anakin
Yeah,
was right.
yeah.
Even though Anakin's mostly wrong, he
was
gave him
right,
a taste
like-
of his own medicine for a second. He's like, it's not the Jedi way. And he's like, Mace Windu at this point, he's like,
Yeah, Mace Windu- no, you're right,
He's too
you're right.
dangerous. There's no, like, I'm
No.
going, fuck the Jedi code this
You're
one
right.
time.
You're right.
please,
No,
because
Mace,
he's gotta
no,
go.
Mace Windu failed. If he was because
If
Mace
he
Windu
did the Jedi thing,
and the reason why he failed is because he was a hypocrite.
he could have
'Cause
been
was
like,
in-
you're under arrest, Chancellor. You know.
yeah, and then the fact that he went against that was his fuck up. You're absolutely
You're right.
Mace
I've never
Windu
thought
fucked
about
up.
this. This is an amazing revolution.
No, but
Mace
Mace Windu deserved what he got at that point because he did fuck up. He contradicted himself. You can't do that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take someone's life,
He went against the Jedi code, the one he preached to Anakin the whole time. And Anakin's like, he saw it go up and he's like, bah!
What he should have said is like, Anakin, look around. He just killed like 4 of our brothers. Like, we got to take him down.
Yeah, he could have kept him there.
Yeah,
and
he could have been like, Anakin, like, look
and
around.
he
Like,
could have
look,
been like, you're under arrest.
Yo, look at the.
Could have put him under arrest, but also he was afraid. He's so strong on the dark side. I can feel it. He can influence the whole fucking government. What are we gonna do? He also had no choice. He didn't have to go like that. He could have.
No,
like,
Mace was angry.
He could have reasoned.
No, it's
he
'cause
could
he
have
was-
reasoned a little bit with Anakin for a little bit
No.
and kept him down. Like, listen, Anakin, we're gonna talk about this for a second.
No, he was fucking angry. Mace was pissed.
He was also
because
afraid.
think about it. He saw
because at
3 of
any
his-
time this guy could probably pull a lightsaber out of fucking Anakin's pocket, his pocket, he's fucking fling him out of the window.
And also, he saw 3-4 of his boys just die.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
those are big hitters. Like, the people that were with Mace that died, those guys weren't just nobodies. Like, they were real fucking council members.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
these are like the best. Like, let me get the best ones.
he got
right now.
He got literal Jedi commandos to come with him to subdue Palpatine, and they died like that. So imagine being Mace in that moment. You're like, I am so mad. Like, I gotta fucking end you.
I read that in the scene. I forgot which Jedi that was. The one that was in the forest, the creepy mushroom forest, and she was like, it was like green and had like the big like Twi'lek looking things. It wasn't a Twi'lek though. And she was there in the scene. You see them gun her down, and they all stand in a circle, like a lot of them.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and they're just like,
and keep going. And I've read that they said that like
her apprentice was.
she had the power. She automatically regenerated, and so that would make her suffer. And they wanted to kill her quick because they actually liked her, and the Order 66 forced them to do it. So they wanted to keep shooting to make sure she died quick.
Yeah.
So she didn't suffer while they were killing her.
fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking good though. It's pretty fucked up. Like when you play like Battlefront 2 when you're a kid. and
Yeah,
they talk
it's
about,
like
the-
Order 66.
Yeah, and
you're
it's like,
that's what
this is fucked.
Apparently the greatest unit in the whole empire was the 501st, and the 501st was the greatest unit because they had the most experience. Like by like, you know, the episodes 4, 5, and 6, the 501st was mostly comprised of like, you know, different recruits and templates.
Yeah,
of
they're
clones.
really like 5
But-
years old.
But the whole thing with the 501st was that they still had the most remnants of units from like the original Republic command. So it's like the 501st was a special unit that ultimately got betrayed in the end because they were there from the beginning. And to the Empire, that was a problem. It's like, yeah, you guys never fucked us over. You guys never betrayed your command, but you know too much. You've seen it from the beginning since you were forced to kill the Jedi, you know, the Jedi at the council with Order 66 to the point where we're at now. Now we gotta get rid of you.
Well,
that's
that's
why the
also-
501st
that's-
was like a tragic case because they were like betrayed by like the thing that.
Well, everyone was betrayed by. That's how he does things.
That's very sad, right,
He
though?
uses you and once he realizes he got the most out of you,
Yeah, but the
he
50
gets somebody to kill you.
But
and
it's
then
like you
takes
said.
them and uses them until they're
But it's like
too old.
you said, it's very sad with the 501st because they were just 5-year-olds, and even them were like so loyal. Like they're
Dooku
Yeah.
didn't expect that.
yeah.
He's just like, really, dude? Is this like we're playing a game, right? And he's like, do it. What? Wait. You know, you just like, he was like he thought he was trying to manipulate him in some different way, probably, and he was like, okay, we're fucking with him, right? Like the look he gives him is like, we're fucking with him, right? Like this is not really gonna.
Well,
happen.
here's the one.
Because if he didn't think it was just a game,
Here's
he
the
would have
one
gotten up
thing-
and done something.
Here's the one thing I actually respect about the Sith and respect about Palpatine and like, you know, the whole like thing. Here's the one rule of the Sith that carried on. There can only the rule of 2.
Yeah.
So no matter who Senator Palpatine, like no matter which one of his apprentices he fucks over, no matter what, he as a Sith that he identifies as, he's going to know at the end of the day, if I find the right student, that student will fuck me over and kill me and take my place. So I give him that much respect that at least he holds true to that. Like, I am Palpatine, and if I'm still around, that means my apprentice failed. But if my apprentice succeeds, then he would have killed me already. You know, it's like, I respect that about the Sith. Like, there's no lies. You know, it's not one guy expecting to live forever.
Yeah, but it's also like said that like he did expect Anakin to be more powerful than him,
And he did, and he was right.
but he also had this like weird soul consciousness transfer like thing. But like
I hated that.
I hated in that sequels, right?
It ruined it. It ruined it.
I think what should have happened was it should have been like Kylo Ren should have been walking through all those clone things, and out of nowhere he should have saw that throne, and it should have been like, Mr. Back, and it should, like the whole time. He's the one who signed him into the fucking Senate.
It was fucking.
It was hold on, and there's a big conspiracy about this because he's always acting clumsy, but every enemy around him dies, and nothing bad happens to him. He's like, oops, I fell. Oh, I blew you up. You're so stupid. You know, and like, no, come on, man. There's no way you. He's like doing the whole like drunken master kung fu, where he's like, whoa, fuck you, you know, and like, so you're like, oh, this guy's a dumbass. What the fuck just happened? And he's a dark Sith, and he does do hand movements at a certain time. Like, we should supreme the supreme chancellor, and it's like,
No.
what was that? And
No.
like Gungans can't jump like that when you jump into that pond. That's not a normal thing. So like I don't know. He might have really been the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Nobody would
in a
buy
plan.
that. Nobody could sell that.
I think that's what should have happened.
Hell's.
I don't think you should have brought back Palpatine anyway, because like it was written that he had clones. It makes sense, I guess. But like, doesn't that take away the redemption arc of Anakin being the chosen one?
Good question, and we could follow that up with the next episode. But we're almost running out of time. Do you have any closing notes?
No. Happy New Year, everybody.
No, we gotta have some closing notes. If you had to say like one last thing, like let's say you were gonna die immediately after this episode, what would be the last thing you tell people? I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna say be good, be excellent to each other, and live every day like it could be your last.
Don't die.
That's all
You're
you gotta
gonna die
say.
soon anyway.
Oh yeah, don't
it.
kill yourself. Suicide is stupid, right?
Yeah, just wait. Don't put effort into it.